Cher Rue show. I'm Cher Rue, and this is my co-host, Kendra Starr.
Hey, guys.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Did you have a good week?
I did. You know, this week has been, it's always a challenge, but I think we have somebody who can actually tell us how we can handle those challenges.
We have an awesome guest who is also a personal friend, David Friedlaender. He's an author, entrepreneur. Not good. He's a certified personal trainer, nutritionist, and yoga instructor, and you're founder of The Solid.
Spell it for it.
It's SOYLD.
Right.
Or the SOLYD.com, like the word solid, but with a Y instead
like a rock.
That's right, because solid, but science of living your dreams. It's actually an acronym.
That's awesome. Welcome, David. Thanks
you.
for joining us.
Glad to be here.
They know each other, so this is going to be new for me. So I think I should just leave.
Okay, so David wrote this book, The 12 Keys, and it is really awesome, and we're going to talk about that. So, David, first, why did you write the book?
Great question. The reason that I wrote it is primarily because I was living in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. I had started my own business by following a lot of principles and things that I learned in other people's books, like How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Psychology of Winning, a lot of books. I've been a fan of this genre of books for a long time. When I was a teenager, got introduced to Deepak Chopra, lots of stuff. But what happened for me in New Orleans was I really hit my stride. I started really making a lot of money and overcoming all my fears, starting to have a really awesome life experience. And I knew that while I was in the process of painting the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New Orleans and involved in all kinds of great stuff that was really the life of my dreams, I knew I had been given that experience so that I would teach other people how to get themselves in the same exact position. Because all I really did was change how I was thinking, and then changing how I was thinking changed some of my actions, new results. The new results were sensational. They were the results that I'd always wanted. More money, better relationships, better improved health, more confidence, overcoming my fears, things that I always wanted to have.
Everybody wants that.
Exactly. But I finally actually learned how to achieve those things once I got my stride going in consistently learning to produce those results. That's when I said, okay, I get it. I've been given this gift so that I can teach it to other people, because when you know how to be the master of your own destiny, life becomes a lot more fun. You see that life it's a gift, not a struggle, and we all have all the talents and abilities that we need. That's the thing, is I've had all along the things that I needed to be successful, but it was only once I followed my intuition that said, go paint houses. I really like painting. I like construction. So I finally quit trying to do what would make other people happy or what I thought was good for society, like what was a good job, and I just pursued what did I like doing. I liked construction. I liked painting houses. I liked staining hardwood floors and stuff like that. And so I became really successful in our terms, society's terms of successful, making money and stuff, because it was fun to me. So I followed that. Things worked out, and then that just sort of encouraged one thing to lead to another, and here we are.
My floors need done. Be happy.
We can talk about that after the show.
Okay, so who is this book for?
Anybody who wants to have more, do more, and be more, honestly. Primarily, I made it for Americans, short attention span, who just want to have more in life. I mean, anyone who's pretty much under the age of 50 in our country right now, who's sitting on an airplane, or older. I mean, like I said, my 82-year-old great aunt really loves the book. So I'm just saying specifically, my target was really on young people, really college age and high school age, because who's the future of our country and our world specifically is high school and college age, even younger. That's who's going to rule our country, our world. And America has lost its stride. America has really fallen off as far as confidence factor, self-esteem, positive expectations for our future. We've become very, very into the doom and gloom. A lot of negative reports about our economy, about our future, about, oh, you go to college and graduate school and then you're in debt and you can't even get a job. We got to stop with that.
Yeah.
Seriously, we have to put an end to that negative communication within ourselves, outside of ourselves, and so I decided I will just be the change. I will be a positive voice. I will tell you what's right with the world, what you can do, what's right with yourself, what talents and abilities you have, how to discover, develop your talents and abilities to make as good of a contribution on society and the world as possible, because when we all do that harmoniously, life is awesome, the world is awesome, and we've just sort of lost our direction here in this country, but all it really needs is a little attitude adjustment, a little pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, dust ourselves off and
well,
keep
that's
going.
kind of what, America was built on, was pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep
That's
going.
it. And
yeah, you're right. We've lost a lot of stride.
We're at another moment in our history where it's important. It's like we come to these changes and transitions, and we're at one. So it's actually really exciting.
Well, it seems like people are walking around like zombies, and they have tunnel vision. They don't care about the other person. Like, I was walking through the mall or something, and I look at people, I smile, and sometimes they smile back, and sometimes they're just not even interested, and it's sad.
I think our world is, like you said, has definitely changed. In your opinion, what do you think brought that on? Because we've kind of been cohesive for a while, and it's kind of fallen apart a little bit.
Well, I think that history goes through cycles, and in researching my book, I sort of discovered that. Looking at, our country has had war before. It's had economic downturns before. It's had all the things that we're going through before. Sure. And so have all their cultures. But right now, collectively, the world is going through it where a variety of economic systems around the world are kind of collapsing. Right. A variety of political systems. And so what do I think? I think that humans are evolving. I think that evolution is just a part of humanity, and that we're coming out of a phase of war, domination, conquering each other, and needing to control each other into a more cooperative phase of life. But the last end of the warring, the conquering, the killing, the controlling, I think we're at the final tail end of working those things out. And also now that we have the technology to film it, to show it, to also communicate all of the breakthroughs that are happening around the world and all of the good stuff, the world is becoming, all of us as individuals are becoming way more informed. I don't have to travel around the world to know what's going on around the world, and neither do you. And as all of us collectively become more and more informed, collectively we're evolving to say, okay.
Sometimes I wonder if that's really a good thing.
Enough is enough. Look, if we don't do something different, we won't have an environment or a planet to live on. If we don't do something different, there won't be any jobs or any economic system. So clearly, the Earth is abundant. We have way more than enough resources to all of us live in an improved way than we currently do. And we're just now catching up to, our technology is getting us caught up to maybe spiritually and consciously where we have the ability to be at, but is just now the first time we're in history that we can really achieve it and get some coherence on a worldwide kind of a level.
All right, you talk a lot about goals and visions in the book. And
Yes.
Can you tell us why goals and visions are so important?
Absolutely. We were talking a little bit before the show, but I will tell the guests because they didn't have the privilege and the cameras weren't rolling. But what I was saying is we all really live the life of our visions, always. Whether the visions are our dreams, our ideals, or they're just haphazard visions, or they're actually negative visions, we all are following what we think about. First, it's like a seed, and then the actual reality that follows behind is sort of the plant that grows. Or another way to say it is our thoughts are like the horse, and our physical reality is the cart that follows behind it. Before I came into the studio for this interview today, I had to think, I'm going to come drive over to the studio to be on this show. I never spontaneously just find myself sitting here going, what am I doing here at this table? How did I get in this room?
Okay, if that happens, I'm leaving the room after that Halloween show.
And so why is vision so important is most people don't realize that we're always having visions. And most people's visions are very similar. It's sort of like a lot of people think about, what'd you do yesterday, what'd you do last week, what are you watching on TV? And so most people kind of continue to think similar thoughts and similar visions of themselves and of the world as they did the day before and the day before that. So for most people's lives don't dramatically change, and most people don't even realize that it's following the course of the visions that they're thinking about. And so specifically, goals are like targets for our attention. They're specific in things that we introduce into the vision in our internal, in our mind, into what would we like to accomplish, where would we like to live, what would we like to have, who would we like to know, what kind of contribution would we like to make, how would we like to look, what would we like to learn. Do you want to know how to play the piano? Do you want to be involved with some charities? Do you want a new boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or children or whatever? You know, those are specific details that when we introduce into the storyline of the visions of our life, then those things will start to manifest because we'll give them attention and then we'll take actions that follow those directions.
I mean, I know I try to tell people that are always thinking negative that they can't do, and it's like you're sending that message out to the universe and you need to change it up and make it a positive.
Absolutely. Martin Luther King, I talk about in the chapter on vision. I talk about a variety of people in the book, well-known authors, celebrities, entrepreneurs. I talk about Home Depot, Starbucks, and I talk specifically about Martin Luther King in that chapter on vision. And I say, why is Martin Luther King a person that we all know and can identify with and has remained famous is because he had vision and he communicated about it. He said, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day all children, all citizens of this world will be equal and will live in justice and equality. So he was saying what his vision is. At the time, he's living in the segregated South. It's 1955. He lives in Montgomery, Alabama. His kids go to segregated schools. He can't use the same restroom as a white person. But he's up on a podium telling people, I have a dream of equality and my children playing with white children and everybody getting along. He's not saying, I live in a really messed up world where people tell me I can't use the same restroom and my kids go to segregated schools. So that was the story taking place at the time. And most people, though, were telling that story. And that's what most people do, is they retell the same stories over and over, where learning to intentionally have a vision of the life that you want, not the life that you have, the life that you want. If you remember the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, it was about a man named Chris Gardner, played by Will Smith.
Right.
It was out about 5 years ago. Chris Gardner, I talk about him in the book, on the chapter about action, because he went from homeless to extraordinarily wealthy, helps developing countries now, has been hugely impactful in Africa with philanthropy and everything. But he talks about in his life story, he was homeless and he saw a man driving a Ferrari, pulled up in front of him at a hospital, and he decided to say, man, what do you do? And that guy said, I'm a stockbroker. And Chris Gardner thought to himself, wow, I'd like to have a nice car like that. I'd like to be able to provide for my family the way I bet he can. And he got a vision in his mind of himself living that life. Now he literally lives that life. That's available for all of us.
That's awesome. All right, on that note, I think we're going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back.
Tonight's episode has been brought to you by Kickin' Ketchup, a new all-natural sensation that transforms foods such as French fries, eggs, and meatloaf into a culinary delight. Kickin' Ketchup. Ketchup with a kick. Best Face Forward Skincare. Cher and Kendra pamper their skin with green tea European facials provided by Best Face Forward Skincare in San Juan Capistrano. To make an appointment, call 949-235-1294 or visit them online at bestfaceforwardskincare.com. Cher Rue BBW Dating. Find that special someone who understands and appreciates the fuller size. Join for free and post your profile in minutes at bbwshareruedating.com. Red Carpets LA, providing red carpet rentals, media walls, video lighting, and red carpet assistance for the greater LA and Orange counties. Transform your next event into a red carpet Hollywood premiere. redcarpetsla.com. Wentworth Public Relations, a premier firm giving you personal one-on-one service. WentworthPublicRelations.com. We put you in the spotlight. Satisfaction Entertainment, providing premier mobile entertainment services throughout Southern California for almost 20 years. Stream your next wedding, convention, or corporate function over the internet with our new live streaming services. Visit SatisfactionEntertainment.com for more information. Tia Crystal, visionary artist, public speaker, author, and inspirational leader. Visit tiacrystal.com for clarity and spiritual guidance.
Okay, welcome back, guys. I'm we're here with David, and he's going to answer some more of our questions, and I have got some challenging questions.
Bring them on.
I love the whole, I know a lot of my friends have like what they call their dream board, where they put pictures up of things that they want to achieve.
Absolutely.
How does that differ from what you just explained to us about envisioning? Because I think I would like to be, 6'1", tall and blonde, but no matter how much I envision that, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
So, what's the difference between kind of envisioning it, making it happen, and having a dream board, or just something you're looking to achieve?
Yes, well, great question. And I would say that a dream board or a vision board, having some visuals, it's a great tool. Mm-hmm. It's one tool in a multifaceted experience. And whether the dream vision board is imprinted more on the screen of your mind or physically on your wall, it doesn't really matter, but what does matter is that you take actions that support it. And this is where a lot of people fall short, to be perfectly honest, because a lot of people will put dreams up, and I've done this. This is earlier in my life. I wrote out some goals. I read the book Think and Grow Rich. I said, this is great. I can have anything I want. Okay, I started writing myself checks. I started writing out goals and dreams, and most of the things that I wrote out when I wrote that book when I was younger did not come to fruition. But what I discovered was I wasn't really taking the actions that were supporting them. I was more thinking it was like a fortune cookie where I could just write, I want this, and release it and let it go.
Right.
What I have discovered is it doesn't always work that way. Some things just kind of come up for us, and that's good and great. But let's see, out of specific things like this book, this was a goal of mine. So I wrote on my list, I want to be a best-selling author. Well, in order to do that, I'm going to have to at least start writing some books, right? But it made the action of sitting down to write a book a lot easier. I was a lot more motivated, driven by the vision of seeing myself on talk shows like this, promoting this, going to schools, doing stuff. It allowed the book then to sort of flow out. So the visioning of it is very, very important, but you got to take action. You got to have the right attitude. You got to be consistently telling yourself you can and you will, and here's why. You got to consistently solve problems as they come up. Things happen along the way, and so that's why I talk about 12 keys. One of them being visualizing, and very important, but all of them are important, and that's kind of where a lot of people are doing 95% of the stuff right, but a few little details wrong. For example, a lot of people will put a lot of money on their vision board, but they'll still talk about their debt, or they'll still talk about their lack of money, or they'll still talk about their crap job, or their how I don't know.
Like what I was saying,
I don't know
saying
how
negative things.
I don't know how I'll get all the money, but I want it. Right? That's continuing to reinforce not having the money.
Right.
What about opportunity? I mean, sometimes opportunity lands in your lap may not be what you envisioned. So what do you think about taking advantage of an opportunity that maybe wasn't your vision, but but yet using that opportunity?
If it supports your best life, I say go for it 100%. Like right now, if somebody tonight offers me an opportunity that requires me to move to Tokyo, but it supports my best life. I right now have no plans to move to Tokyo, but if my best life could be continued and my life's dreams and passions could be continued to pursue by moving to Tokyo,
so you can make adjustments.
I'd seriously consider it. You have to.
You have to make adjustments.
You have to. Just like the wind and the waves, what we are nature. We are natural and we are organic, and our lives evolve naturally and organically. And if we plan too much, see, I've planned certain goals and specific things, but you got to be open to how do they come and how do they manifest.
Well, as I say, I had plans for my life, and they definitely did not turn out the way, and they turned out better than I ever envisioned. Yes. But it's because I took advantage of opportunities.
Yes.
And I think I think it's important, and I like your philosophy about the visions and all that. Do you ever get people who are skeptical about the way you think?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
Yeah. And how do you address that?
Well, there's a few ways. Number one, it's not really my goal to make everybody believe what am I talking about or teaching. It doesn't change my life experience, which is going really awesome. And I know why it's going awesome. It's because I'm employing these things in my life. So anyone who really wants to have more, do more, be more, at some point they start to think, what is it that I'm doing that's getting in my way, or what am I not doing that I need to do? And so anyone who's really interested is going to be seeking this out and receptive to it. People who are doubtful are going to doubt what I'm doing, are going to doubt what other people are doing.
Right.
And it's not my job or anyone's really, I don't need to convince anyone. as much as I just need to offer the information and the tools to those who are willing and interested. Like, I'm focused on those who at least have some hope.
Right,
If you're
right.
hopeful, well,
you're
talk.
obviously being your
Yeah.
authentic self.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, is to be your authentic self. And that's kind of what I'm getting from you. You need to be your authentic self and
100%.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
okay, so if we're at home, how
Yes.
can we focus on abundance
Yes.
or prosperity when we are feeling a little bit overwhelmed?
Great question. So this is addressing, again, like what I
Right.
was saying. A lot of people put stacks of $100 bills on your vision board, or all kind of nice cars, but then still be upset and disappointed about what you're not having right now and about lack. So for me personally, one of the go-to abundance is what we're really after. Okay, when you're feeling a lack, like you're not going to have enough money, you're not going to have enough finances. Really, all money does for us is it gets us stuff. It gets us food. It gets us vacations. It gets us security. It allows us to give gifts to other people. So that's what we're all seeking, is abundance. So we have to focus on the abundance, first of all, that we've ever had. So whatever things you're seeking more of, whatever vacations or things or stuff you've ever received, it's good to recognize what ones do you have right now, because that'll put you focused on what do you have opposed to what you don't have. So now you're consciously focused on having opposed to not having. That's a very important difference. And then I like to look at nature. I like to look at my own body. You have 60 to 70 trillion cells in your body at any given time, constantly reproducing, constantly taking care of themselves. This whole wonderful, elaborate pharmacy and system, the most biodiverse piece of equipment on planet Earth is your body. 60 to 70 trillion cells. I mean, that's more stars than are out in the entire Milky Way galaxy. That's abundance. That's abundance. You look at how many blades of grass grow. That's abundant. There's more grass than there are bugs to eat it. There's more fruit falling off the trees than there are birds to eat it. Nature is abundant. There is more water in the ocean than all the fish need to swim around. There's enough to share. There's enough air for all of us. There's abundance. It's a quality of nature. And we've become focused on lack and limitation because that's part of the game of a consumer society. But that's not the reality of the system that we live in. The system we live in is abundant. The sun shines abundantly on planet Earth every single day, over and over.
So there's enough for everybody of anything.
There is more than enough, and it's about us getting our mindsets into realizing that and remembering that, realizing it's in us. We have more than enough. We have more than enough. If you lost a finger, you still go on. You have more than you need. Not that you want to, but you know.
Depends on what you use that finger for. If it's that middle one, you never know.
So in the chapter on attitude,
Yep.
key 9, a quick way to change your mind from negative to positive.
Yes.
Can you explain the two different ways?
Okay, great question. So a lot of times, people that I'm coaching or working with, say an athlete, okay? An athlete might be in a slump at any given time, and they tend to focus on the slump, and it tends to accentuate their slump. Bad thoughts. That's just not working, right? What's the problem? The slump. The solution. Now that's what we want to talk about. Oh, you want to hit some home runs? Do you want the stadium to be cheering? Do you want to be rounding the bases? Do you want your wife to be congratulating you when you come home instead of afraid that you're going to slam the door and be all upset because you're not performing? The difference is, what do you want? The solution. Okay, so hitting a home run instead of striking out would be the solution versus the problem. The problem is you're striking out. So first of all, just don't think about it. Okay, that's happening. That's the problem.
Relax.
You know it's there. Yeah. How is it going to change? Not by talking about that you're striking out. Thinking about, talking about, rehearsing home runs. That's one way that it's going to change. Now, sometimes people have a difficult time doing this, and I would consider that one I just said a slight advanced technique. So this is one I want to tell you, no matter what's going on, okay? Say you hate your job, and it gets you down. Every time you go in, you're frustrated, you're mad. That's only going to accentuate it. It's only going to compound it. It's only going to make it worse. You're going to be telling your friends. You're going to get worse assignments, and it's all going to keep going bad because you're focused on it. You're exaggerating it, accentuating it. So what I recommend is think of a different subject matter, completely different. If I'm working with an athlete, say we'll take a baseball player, and he's striking out, and he's in a real bad slump, he's afraid he might get cut, he might get sent back to the minor leagues, a variety of things he doesn't want. Okay, that's a bunch of things he doesn't want. All that's going to make him have a negative feeling, negative emotion. When he shows up to work that day at the ballpark, it's not necessarily, he's not in the best position to succeed because he's worried, he's nervous, he doesn't have good energy. So I'm saying, what is your passion? What do you love? What things do you like? What makes you happy? I'm telling my baseball player client, focus on the day you got married. Was that a happy day for you? Focus on the best vacation you've ever been on. Is that a good moment? Focus on the day that you saw your child being born. Did that make you happy? Now that guy is feeling excited. So now he's going into the stadium thinking he's blessed, he's abundant. Oh, well, even if he did get sent back to the minors, he still has it pretty good.
Right.
And now he's going to wind up hitting a home run that night because he's thinking about good things. Shifting your emotional attitude
Nice.
from negative to positive, it's always good. And you don't have to work out every last little problem. If you're,
So the negative basically holds us back.
it completely does. And you can go to an unrelated positive. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't hear people talk about that much, but an unrelated positive. Focus on dancing. Do something that's going to make you feel good because you'll emotionally feel better, and then whatever issue you're dealing with, be it your job is not your favorite, be it you're striking out in your job or in actual baseball, that's going to you're going to have a better attitude to deal with it
Right.
if you get yourself happy.
Okay, so what is the most important key of all the keys? The
The
12 keys. And this is a great book. I've read it. You guys all should read it.
Thank you. Well, maybe I would say key number one. It's the first key, and I've made it the first on purpose. Key number one is having an open mind. So being open to new information. If you want new results in your life, you have to take new actions because that's what we are. We are creating cause and effect every single day. Cause and effect, cause and effect. So if you want to create, like I caused an effect as this book. I'm causing effects that is helping other people improve their lives. And so then that's giving me benefits and benefit to other people, all that. Having an open mind to what maybe you're not doing or what you are doing that's getting in your way is key. I was open to learning some new things and open to getting rid of some things that I had learned that maybe weren't true. And so I'd say if you're willing to do that, let the rest of it in, and you have nothing to lose.
No, it's true. Where do you see our world in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, no, not that question.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Scary thought.
if you haven't guessed yet, I'm pretty optimistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am too.
So where I see our world in 5 to 10 years is dramatically transformed and changed. I believe that we are on the verge of a major paradigm shift about all this subject matter, and that this subject matter, instead of being like new and stuff that people need to get taught about, is going to become part of our overall understanding in general of the world's population, that what we think about, what we vibrate on, becomes our reality, that when we're more cooperative, we achieve more, that obstacles happen, how we deal with them, how our attitude is determines it, how we communicate with each other, all this stuff that I'm talking about, I think is going to become much more known to the world. I think that because we're in crisis right now, I think that that's going to be a catalyst to transform our financial systems globally, our political systems globally. I think we're going to have the first ever, the largest groups of so far that have been formed by people are countries. I think that we're going to create a worldwide system of trade and cooperation amongst the different countries on Earth, and that we'll actually have a global citizenship. I think that a global economy and values, and core values that transcend one religion, another religion, one culture, another culture. Everybody agrees that love is good. Everybody agrees that good family values are good. Everyone agrees that people being well-fed and healthy is good for the planet. It's good for all of us. If everyone around is healthy and taken care of, who's going to be stealing? Who's committing crimes? Nobody. The reason that people steal and commit crimes is because they don't have what they need, or they think they need to get it by force or whatever like that. So I'm very, very optimistic that we're going to be living in an improved world from a lot of this information and knowledge, and from the crises. That things are going to break down, and what's going to prevail is human cooperation and the spirit of human beings.
We need everybody needs to help each other.
That's what we're doing right now. You're helping create a platform for this information.
Okay.
Everybody's doing their part.
All right, so what are you hoping to inspire in people with this book?
I am hoping to inspire you to know that you can have, do, and be everything that you want, no limits, no matter where you are right now, no matter how bad it is, no matter how much debt you have, no matter what you need to overcome or whatever your obstacles. Honestly, there are people who have had it worse and who have gone further than you could possibly imagine. And I tell lots and lots of stories in there, so I'm hoping to inspire you to know and believe that that's true, to realize that you are a special emanation from the highest creative source of the entire universe, and that you have the power to make your life what you want it to be. So that's my goal.
It definitely inspired me.
Inspire people to improve their attitude, lift up our country, and realize that if we want to make solutions right now, instead of having all these crises and problems, it's on us, and we can. And that you you, me, all of us. We make up the world. So let's
Kumbaya.
Do our thing.
Yes, to say I am not singing Kumbaya right now.
Sorry, I had to.
She had to have her moment.
All right, so what's your website?
My website is www.thesolid.com. That is TheSolyd, thesolid.com, the science of living your dreams.com.
And how much is the book?
The book is $19.95. You can get it on thesolid.com. You can get it at Barnes & Nobles. You can go on Amazon.com. It's
Is it on
available.
Kindle yet?
Available everywhere. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not positive,
you never
to be
know.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely can get it as an ebook off of the website
Okay.
for iPad.
Good.
And it's a PDF. I don't know how that reads on Kindle.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's formatted yet.
You guys really, I urge you to get the book and read it. It's really amazing. I'd like to see everybody happy and prosperous and healthy and rich, the whole thing.
Absolutely. Me too.
I want it all for everybody.
That's it.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been my pleasure being here.
No, it was great. Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed watching this. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you're inspired. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
You're welcome anytime.
Okay. And as always, until next time.
Bye, guys.